The Call of Duty League is presented by Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The US Army wants your warrior.
Hello and welcome, of course. My name is Bryce and I'll be bringing you the action through today's game on CDL Super Week. But I'm not alone, joined of course by the ever wonderful Chris Tun. Tun, how are you?
You know, it's our debut on the CDL, and it's a debut for a nice intro by you, Brycey. Thank you very much. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm alongside yourself. I'm making sure I'm looking the right way with the green screen and everything. But, oh man, excited for what is our first show, of course, and of course, a fantastic game. Subliners taking on the Røkkr. It's going to be a banger. Banger.
It certainly is, and of course, they've got some great stats there for our bios. Of course, you know, me having terrible hair and you being bad at Call of Duty.
Well, I mean, I didn't get into casting out of choice. It was more so just forced. I had a bad time of things when I did play way back at Black Ops 1. Of course, we kept it up casually, but moving to the casting side of things for good reason, Brycey. It wasn't a good event. It was poor, and it followed me. It followed me a while. It still does.
Yeah, well, let's move on from terrible Call of Duty players to meet some fantastic one. It's time to meet the New York Subliners.
Don't let us down. Bring home a championship. Not one, not two, maybe 3 or 4.
Yo, Clayster, if you don't bring home the championship, you out of here, boy.
Hey, if there's one thing about the city that I understand, it's that they don't tolerate losing.
He's in from behind again. Clayster with 2.
So I'm bringing championships. We're bringing them by the dozen.
Just make sure the snipes is hitting. Headshots only. Anything higher than the headshot is uncivilized.
What a Zuma is? Zoom? He's on Zoom meeting?
The stallion is frying. The stallion is cooking.
Not quite what I was thinking.
You guys are gonna kill it out there.
Good luck this season.
Thank you guys so much. This season's for y'all.
Subliners, way to go. New York's behind you 100%.
We're bringing a championship to New York City.
Well, there you are, our incredible New York Subliners team. Tun, this is an awesome squad. Clayster, Mack, Diamondcon and Asim.
Oh, such a solid squad. You know, we look at how well they've done so far. Some people wouldn't have expected it necessarily, but Clayster really has been leading the line for the Subliners, and they are looking somewhat special early on, Bryce. Very, very good.
Yeah, they certainly are, and a lot of people waiting to see just how good they are, in fact, going to get. A lot of people, obviously, you know, with the storylines from Clayster in the last year, are keeping an eye on him this time to see, can he go for the three-peat, Tun?
I mean, it's a good question, isn't it? Let's be honest. Clayster looking very, very good so far. He's hoping to get themselves there, isn't he? I mean, he's playing fantastic. If he can keep it up, they definitely could do it.
Well, they have got opponents now, and let's take a little look at the team coming up against them. It is going to be the Minnesota Røkkr. Well, there you go, the Minnesota Røkkr, and what could be the greatest intro video I've ever seen. And their lineup: accuracy, attach, MajorManiak, and Priestahh Tun. So far, this team has been lining it up in Search and Destroy.
They have done, and that's really what's been getting them the games. It's been the catalyst for some big, big wins. Of course, up against Dallas was really the one that sort of cemented them up near the top. A lot of people had, not necessarily question marks, but I don't think a lot of people would have expected them to come out of the gates as hot as they have done, but they've looked incredible. That performance against Dallas, their S&D really has been what has found them those wins so far, and for that reason they look fantastic and they should do well here up against the Subliners. But it's going to be such a close game. I mean, look at the storied names on that roster though. I mean, look, they have a bit of everything. I'm saying people were surprised, but really I'm not 100% sure why. I mean, they look fantastic so far, and the roster just so good. I'm so happy to see them together and doing well.
They certainly are. Well, it's time to talk about what's happening. Here are our Game Fuel's keys to victory. Minnesota Røkkr, of course, need to take a respawn. They haven't actually dropped a search yet, but are 3 and 5 in the rest of the game modes, Ton.
Yeah, I mean, the search, I said, it really has been one of the big reasons as to why they're finding themselves in a good spot so far, but respawn has been a little bit shaky, so if they can do something in that respawn, it means they're looking good in this series. S&Ds, we say they win champs, and realistically, in this case for Røkkr, it can do. But looking towards those respawns, that's really where they need to concentrate their efforts. Of course, if they can get that done, the S&D seems to come naturally. But we've seen there again, lots of close games for them as well. They need to keep that composure coming through. They're winning them now, but there will be a time where they won't. They need to make sure they're going to be consistent across every single game.
Yeah, 100%, and of course their opponents, the New York Subliners. Here are the keys to victory, the Game Fuel keys to victory. Clayster must maintain the level he has set. A 1.38 overall KD, the #1 in the CDL, and that's impressive all on itself.
I mean, it's Clayster bringing up the #1. You know, there's a couple of people who would have said that there would have been other players who are more than likely to do that than him, but hey, more power to him. He's really proven why, you know, he was on that Dallas roster last year. He was a world champion last year. Wants to prove it with this New York Subliners team as well. Can he do it across these 5 maps?
Well, we certainly will find out. But these two teams going to war. I know a lot of people, Ton, have been looking forward to this one to see basically where the benchmark of these two teams are.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've already set high expectations, both these two teams with very good wins. And it's really a hard one to call, both in form, both looking solid. But realistically, I think a lot of people may be leaning towards the Røkkr on this one. They've really found some big scalps throughout their first couple of weeks of the CDL in Stage 1, and I'm interested to see if they can continue to do so. Subliners would be just as big a scalp as some of the previous games we have seen, and I'm very excited again in this one. Bryson, what better way to kick it off a raid hardpoint? Oh god, bring me back, bring me back.
Well, let's get right into it then. Map 1, the New York Subliners versus the Minnesota Røkkr. Of course, we'll be kicking it off on raid hardpoint, as Ton did just say. And let's jump on board. First of all, by the looks of it, I think Priestahh, Ton.
Yep, going on board with Priestahh. I'm looking to see who's going to be able to flip these spawns. Of course, for the Røkkr, you can see Subliners starting on the kitchen side. So if you're the Røkkr, that's what you want to concentrate on. But honestly, looking at this roster, it's surprising to me that they are struggling in that respawn. But I think it just sort of undermines how good their S&D has been with how good their record is actually looking. The fact that their respawn is somewhat faltered, and the fact that they are still looking so good in the standings says a lot about how good they've been playing, but accuracy picking up a couple to open things up. Yeah, Clayster will answer back, but Subliners, very importantly, holding on to those spawns so far.
They are at the moment, but of course, we will be keeping an eye on that P2 rotation. Already Clayster going up the top, ready for those players to push him through ARP, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Only accuracy may throw a shoulder or two into the top bedroom, and Clayster knows exactly what's about to come. Right now, New York Subliners doing a fantastic job of just holding the position they need to. They are in the lead on this hardpoint so far. They have the spawns for next. A great start.
Yep, kitchen front is going to be the hit for the Røkkr here. Attach. Inside, not going to happen from money side. Asim will come through, clean that up. It's been pretty flawless so far from the Subliners now. Is Priestahh now going to have to try and get a flank on, and all of the Røkkr team here with them as well as they start making this rotation as P2 locks in. Subliners will tick these points in. We can see a slow setup here from the Røkkr, but it's one of those, if you can break it clean, you're in a really good spot to pick up a lot of points, and it started off well. Priestahh accuracy, and now MajorManiak finding the kills towards the back. They haven't quite flipped the spawns as Asim finds not 2, but 3 in the hill. Fantastic stuff by Asim. He keeps it alive for his team all on his own. They keep the spawns, they keep the hill, and they will keep ticking those points up.
Fantastic play, and of course now just waiting to figure out exactly where they're coming from. His teammates going down will give him an idea. MajorManiak also picking up 2, and it is going to be rotation time very shortly, but New York are not going to rush to it. They know that already the Røkkr are going to be waiting for them. You can see here, this may be a full stack through mid as they try to get a little bit of control back on this map. Big setup coming on from Røkkr. You can see they spread out towards ring. They're watching water. They have a player in hill and mid as well. But those players are swiftly disappearing. New York have a great breakout here. Now they're going to try and put the pressure on. Big stuck coming in. Asim just waiting. Looking to see whether or not he can get through. But now Diamondcon going in towards the back of Van. Looking for accuracy all the way across. Bullets going down, eventually taking them out. And New York do a great job of breaking this wide open.
Yep, they've done fantastically there. Røkkr really do need to start locking some points in very, very shortly. That was an early rotation. It was a high line from them as well, which is usually something that works out, but you maybe need to play a little bit more awkward. They're holding typical sight lines. I'd like to see them in that situation. Just sit in the corner somewhere, just wait for them to come, but nonetheless, Røkkr have managed to find a couple of kills on the push back in the garage, but it is going to be the Subliners to lock in those final 20 points or so, and that is an astonishing lead after 3 hills. We head over towards basketball court, and we can see Subliners want to make this push via Lamborghini side. Transitioning through to middle. Courtyard control is crucial, of course, as they look to make a push through kitchen, but very much is through the middle of the map, down into the belly of the beast here for the Subliners, trying to get hold of some control so they can make that push around the flank. They want to flip those spawns as soon as possible. Subliners looking to hit the kitchen hard.
Well, let's see if they can do it right now. Røkkr are more than equal to it. Asim trying to get one, but doesn't get any more, and that means it's a full reset for the New York Subliners as they try to get back into this already. Clayster with 2 opening up. We said high level set for him so far, and he's doing exactly that. You can already see incoming. They're going to try and use this to the most devastating effect they can. Gets one as well, but still not quite broken. Attack is trying to hold them off. New York Subliners have managed to get bodies in it. Priestahh is equal to it though, trying to come through. Not able to get that one on Asim either. The Røkkr are stacking, but Asim is cutting them down, and this has not been the start you want to see if you're a Minnesota fan.
I mean, Bryce is 14-2 at the moment, Asim. What a start this has been from him. We've seen him pop off in kitchen, but he's kept going under the radar somewhat, but is going to go down for only his 3rd death. What a performance this has been so far from him. Those rotations have looked healthy for the Subliners. Asim getting it done from the front as well. Minnesota Røkkr, though, have reduced that deficit somewhat, although it's still in and around 80 is not a healthy deficit at all for them to try and come back from. But looking in the courtyard here, they have a little bit of control, not quite as much as they would like. Asim, though, I don't think I've seen him lose a gunfight. Here's another one. My goodness, even from that angle, it looked filthy. And they lock in the courtyard hard point. Really well played by the Subliners once again. Asim is lighting it up.
They certainly are. Well, Minnesota currently are a little bit down and a little bit in trouble, so let's throw it to an Astro Gaming listen-in with Minnesota.
Alright, go to there. Hey, give me driveway. I'm looking pillars. I spawned out water, guys. I spawned out water.
Behind us, Diamond,
they could pinch laundry.
I'm looking at laundry.
Or driveway, white van on me, white van on me. I have your push, I have mid pillars. I have all mid pillars right now.
White van, white van,
on point. Our side point.
I flipped.
Stay up. Oh, yeah, he's just in a corner middle. Asim over.
We should get water here. Look at Zig. Zig.
They saw me laundry. One's back laundry, Clay.
Asim weak Zig, he went back to pit.
I can kill Scott pit maybe. They were trophy pit. I don't see him time, bro. Oh, he's close R, close R, and then left side hill.
Going pitch.
Down on left side hill. Yeah, we have to hit the hill, left side hill.
Holding jungle, one out of the play.
Alright, he's back hill. Coming.
Hill,
left side hill, left side time, 2 of them. There's 3 there, 4 there, all 4 there. One's hitting pillars, one's going kitchen now. We gotta hit the hill.
Yeah, we got to crush this.
Looking top.
Take my outer.
Driveway with you. One's pillars and 2 are by hill.
Any trophies? One trophy
their side. One trophy their side. Coming left.
Oh, I got naded, bro.
Well, there we go. That was the Astro listening with Minnesota, and Ton, it hasn't really got any better for them. Still, massive streak from Asim is ruining the day of the Røkkr, and you've got to ask yourself, is there even a way back from here?
It's a tough one, isn't it? They sounded very, very calm and composed in the comms. I'd like to hear a little bit more urgency in this one. Subliners looking to lock this one in via kitchen, and they're already set up. I mean, this has been flawless from them. The rotations have been fantastic. They've locked down the sight lines they've needed to, and then even when Røkkr could get anywhere near it, Asim has been popping off. 5 deaths is what it's going to lock in from. 22 and 5 out of Asim is a big reason as to why the Subliners 82-point club, Minnesota Røkkr. What a performance.
I don't even think what a performance really covers what we just witnessed. They only got 5.5 points. They've got that P1 for me. Like, that is ridiculous. What a ridiculous scoreline. I'm sure social media is going berserk at the moment because obviously we couldn't see it as much as we'd like to, but I imagine he was just floating around that map. Golden wings have sprouted from his back as he just delivered death upon his enemies. That was ridiculous.
That's an insane performance. It's a once in a few events performance, it has to be said. And look, it's not even like it's against one of the lower end teams. Røkkr have been there. Yes, okay, we've said that they're running gun game modes. They're outside of hardpoint. Has been so much of a struggle for them. But look at that. That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's only put down. I mean, it's questionable actually because he's actually got under 3,000 damage. Clayster at 1811 coming through with 3,400. It seems just been cleaning up though. Can't finish his dinner, Clayster. That's the problem. Fantastic from a team nonetheless though. SMG work out of the chain. Out of the. I mean, that's just ridiculous from him. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's kind of what we were talking about as well, right? Going into the hard points, we thought New York might have a bit of an advantage. I suppose Minnesota are going to have to try and rely on that search and destroy now, and try and balance the books essentially, because that is probably the worst possible way to start something up. But we'll find out what happens in the next map right after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Map 2, Search and Destroy, Minnesota Røkkr versus the New York Subliners right here. See you soon.
Røkkr certainly come to play.
They can't stop it. They can't stop the kid. They can't stop it.
Oh, Priestahh, disgusting. Accuracy's there, nice kill. Bang! MajorManiak, 200 IQ, 10 out of 10 play. Oh my word! Attach is going to save the day. Røkkr, our kings of the north.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our games for the evening, of course. Here are our quick scope. These are the stats we've seen so far, and already the New York Subliners look like they are in a fantastic position, Ton.
Yeah, a good position, but it has to be said, based on those stats and what we said at the beginning of the game, Røkkr weren't necessarily expected to win that one, but in fairness, I don't think we expected Subliners to do what they did to them there, did we? I mean, what a performance by them, but we know that Røkkr definitely performing better on the control side of things and absolutely in the search and destroy. Still very much a series on our hands, nonetheless, after that performance from the Subliners.
No, 100%, and it's not all over. Obviously, that's not the greatest way to start off any best of 5 if you are the Røkkr team, but New York will be flying high. But please bear in mind, right now, Minnesota have not dropped a search and destroy at all. They have to be very wary that that is, in fact, coming up next. And one of the big things to talk about here is just whether or not these two teams will be top of the lead at the end of this season, Ton.
Yeah, I mean, they've both got a really, really good shot. So far, so good for both squads. And I mean, this is an important game, though. It has to be said. Both of them running relatively high, and the Røkkr really will need to lock this in. The Search and Destroy needs to be significantly better than what we've seen in that hard point. But the Subliners, they will take a lot of energy going into these other games. Well, I mean, look, you say, okay, we were expecting the Subliners to go on to win that one, but that emphatically gives you that bit of a momentum heading into those next few maps. And if they can take a search and destroy here, I mean, they should be plain sailing, right? That should be it, done for them. But it's not that easy against the Røkkr. We've seen how good they've looked in search, and they need to look that good once again against the Subliners.
They certainly do, but before we get too much further into talking about how this matchup is going to work, there were obviously a lot of power issues last week, but fortunately Attached and friends managed to come together to figure out how to get into CDL Super Week.
Survival vlog update day 2. We got Lamar there, we got Tej, we got Austin, we got pizza. We're at Tommy's place. His place is power, electricity, whatever it's called, internet. Listen, we got Tom here. Let's get it, Tom.
You know the vibe.
He's saving us. He ordered us pizza.
You know I got y'all.
A lot of pizza. So Tommy always got our back. Then we got P-Dog streaming. We're trying to make money on Tom's stream so we can eat food. Because we got no money. We've already been rationing food. So we need gifted subs. You better run it up in the chat. Let's get it, Preston. Let's get it, baby.
Up, bro. We're on a
run it up. We're on a 27. So y'all better run this up because we need to eat.
Well, there you go. And of course, you know, that does remind me of the old days, you know, all friends jumping in together, playing a little bit of LAN. Done, but we can see Attached on our screen right now. And here's the thing, going into this next game, you've just got to ignore the hard point and play what you are best at. Fortunately, that is this game mode for Minnesota.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have to put that first map in the back of your mind, especially one like that. You need to just completely forget about it. It's over, it's done with. You're moving into search and destroy. It's your bread and butter. This is really where a lot of your series have been won. So if you're the Røkkr, you sort of say, right, okay, yeah, that's fine. That hard point didn't go our way. Let's move into Moscow. Let's move into the search and destroy. Let's get this done. Let's tie this series up. And then it's your world to play with. So interested to see if they can bounce back. They need to. I feel as if Subliners take this, it's done and dusted. But the Røkkr, we've seen how good they have looked in search and destroy over the past couple of weeks, and once again we expect them to continue it here.
Yeah, 100%, and you can see that both teams getting ready for this one. And New York obviously back into the zone right now. They're all smiling and happy after that first hard point, but know that this is not the end of it. You've got to make sure that you get the whole game done. And they probably have practice for this as well, Ton. That's the thing. Once you start seeing these teams and you get your scrims together, you're going to start playing to try and take down the Røkkr. It's one of our keys to victories, actually, whether or not they can do it. Ton, do Røkkr fall here from grace on Search and Destroy or not?
I'm not 100% sure. Look, I was looking at the picks and bans, and I really feel as if New York targeted Røkkr specifically. We've seen Checkmate go, we obviously seen Raid go as well on the Search and Destroy side of things, and that was from New York's ban. So they're making sense in terms of what they're getting rid of. I like to see that from them, and as you said, teams are having the opportunity to prepare for each other now. They're seeing what maps are working out well for some teams and some maps that aren't. If you're the Subliners, you choose to get rid of some of the maps that are working well for your opponents, and they really did target that. Really well played by the Subliners from that point, and the fact that they take map number 1 as well is just an added bonus. Now they're going into a Search and Destroy they feel comfortable on in Moscow. If they can get the job done here, they're in such a good spot. But for the Røkkr now, it is still, you know, Search and Destroy. It's very generic. It's very much played in a similar fashion across the whole of Cold War. And map to map, sometimes it doesn't make too much of a difference what's going to be presented to you when your record is that good in Search and Destroy. They don't seem to necessarily have crutch bans or crutch picks. They seem to just play across the board. They have a very generic map pool when it comes to Search and Destroy, and honestly, I'm expecting them to still be relatively comfortable heading in towards Moscow, but the Subliners have targeted it. They've got this in for a reason. Let's see if they can make it count for themselves, though. Subliners, as said, at this moment in time, Search and Destroy has been a bit hit and miss. We haven't seen as much of it from them as we would like to. However, at this moment in time, they'll be knowing that Røkkr are the favourites for this one. No pressure going into this. Based on map 1 that we've seen, they'll feel confident to take hard points and controls all day long based on what we just seen on Raid, realistically. So let's see if they can get it done the Search and Destroy, but I don't think they'll be feeling too much pressure.
Alright, well, we will find out soon, Ton, but while we are waiting for this game to start, let's take a little look at our top 5 plays from week 1.
If it's not TJ, someone's getting fired. It is. Sure enough, it's TJ. Yeah. And we just, we catch the final kill of it, obviously. You don't see the full thing, and,
well, just look at the mini-map, right? Like, because he got those kills, his team, he opens up the driveway spawn for his team. If he doesn't, they're put into a tough position. It's 4 dead. You had Diamondcon number 7, who was already set up water side, would have probably got a couple of more kills. It leads to the artillery. Yeah, I mean, this was just such a momentum shift. Unbelievable stuff out of him.
Oh, and then he ends up getting like 3 more kills.
Toronto versus Florida, those guys took their time a little bit, and these two aren't. It's just a battle over the balcony inside of the lobby towards this B site. And now it's his turn in a 1 versus 2. Almost finds Diamond. Diamond's able to play his life. 40 seconds to work with, has to find a plant, maybe get some good timing, and he does. Well, he spotted Diamond earlier, so he's just going to take his time.
And that's a nice win. Nice tracking, like hip fire hitting. You know, you got an AR at point blank. Not always the easiest situation, but he wins the gunfight. How can Kenny come up? He had the triple to close out the map 1. He's able to get the plant off. Now 1-on-1 versus Diamond. Diamond with a lot to prove. Only thing he proves is that he's in Kenny's line of sight.
Parasite wins a big one. That's very, very important kill. Dylan on the flank does get completely eviscerated there by Gunless. Parasite gets himself number 2. There we have it. 2 in a row. That's the bomb down as well. I'm not sure if he caught full wind of that, but Octane and Gunless now. The AR Dream Team now making their way towards Parasite. Eyes on him. Gubs up through the top. Parasite reads it perfectly. A wonderful kill there. That's going to be 3 this round alone. Shawnee, can he get involved as well now? Parasite. That's for the ace. And the round. Now Loony in a 1 versus 1 against Shotzzy. And it's a straight gunfight in the middle of the map. They're going to get it done in the park here. Sun goes through. Does manage to connect with the flash. Here we go. Loony. Big. Oh, no! No, 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 no! Oh my God, no! What a win from Shotzzy! Ah, that stings. Loony did everything right.
Neither team can win it here. We're seeing some more hard points. The madness of the map continues on. This time, though, Chicago will be able to pick up, but you know how hard this streak can be to break. aBeZy is going to get a key kill over towards the next hard point. aBeZy actually going to get 2. aBeZy's actually going to get 3. Are you kidding me, aBeZy? What a play there at the next hard point. Will that be enough to win them the game? Because now they've got both sides of the street locked down. OpTic spawning in no man's land. This is FaZe's game to win.
Great plays out of aBeZy, and this has been their best hill. It's been at this bus hill where OpTic is dominating on number 2. This one has been all Atlanta FaZe, and it is looking good. Like you said, they controlled both sides. Simp gonna be able to find 1 kill, and that play from aBeZy is gonna get us to a game number 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. This is Super Week, and this is our game currently, the New York Subliners versus Minnesota Røkkr. If you are just joining us right now, New York are up 1-0 after a lightning hard point. But with S&D coming next, it could be Revenge of the Røkkr. I am looking forward to it. It's Moscow at the moment. I believe Minnesota have already played this and won this map so far in the league.
I mean, look, as we were saying, Search and Destroy has been their bread and butter. They've won a lot of maps, Search and Destroy so far. So, I mean, things have been going nicely for them. Heading over towards Moscow, though, of course, we're looking towards that one side of the map where things really do get done. And looking for those ARs to find those picks, those SMGs to be aggressive in and around the bomb site. Well, let's see which way this one does go. It's an important one for Minnesota. You feel as if they lose this, they're staring down the barrel of a loss in this series. Subliners looking so good in the respawn. And heading in S&D, Minnesota, this is their playground.
Oh, let's find out if that is true. First of all, we are on board with the MVP of the last game. Asim only dropped 5 kills in the hard point. I did expect to drop 5 in a Search and Destroy. Let's see just how good he is here, though. And already, big break coming in. Usual A hit from both teams. Going to go straight in for this one, aggressive, trying to get through. Escalators already clear through, going straight out, already going to see 1. This is a massive opening for New York. And already, it looks like they are going to try to capitalise on everything they did last game. Another big kill for Asim. Somebody stop him, please, because he is out of control. New York open up in a very quick Search and Destroy. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, they're riding the wave of that hard point. They come flying out of the gates here. Asim with another couple, and I mean, look, this guy he's been in and out, hasn't he, over the past couple of years. He's found himself now on the Subliners team, and showing what he can do. I don't feel as if we seen the best from Asim last year, but so far so good on Cold War. Want to start to the round for them, want to start to the series, want to start to the search and destroy for the New York Subliners.
Really is, and obviously this is not over yet. We will be seeing just how far it can go. Of course, technically he's still on a bit of a streak from that last game. See, as they go into the defense, there's like a bit of a mid-control here for New York. Going to come against a couple of the Røkkr players. Clayster's wide picking as well, but Asim coming straight in. Eventually will be traded out. MajorManiak able to bring that back. It's now attached in a 1 versus 2. Already going to see Mack.
Shots.
Now just Diamondcon to deal with here. Be a great win if he can figure it out. Obviously, bomb down mid-map. Both these players will now be sitting here thinking, whereabouts is the other player? What information do I have? And trying to mentally track and time it. Could see each other at any point. Diamondcon and attached come very close there. Now, Diamondcon genuinely have no idea. He's going to try and figure this one out. See, and he will know as soon as attached ends up getting this down. But the real question is, is where does attached go from here? And it looks like an escalator. Oh! Oh! He's trying to get out of it. Diamondcon's going to go straight through it as well. And, well, that was actually a little bit of an anticlimax in the end. Managed to find him as soon as the bomb went down.
Yep. Not ideal there for the side of the Røkkr. Subliners will get that one done. 2-0 now. And this is a Subliners pick. The hard point was over towards the Minnesota side of things. So Subliners will be feeling nice about this. Diamondcon with the 1v1. It's a big round. Big round.
I am seeing exactly how Røkkr react to this. Now, this isn't the first time they have been down in a search and destroy. I believe against Surge, pretty much the same thing happened. But then the ice came through and they managed to get back into it. You can already see another big push coming in from New York Subliners towards A again. It worked last time. Let's try it one more time and go for these trades. Attached going to close head. You're going to try and find Clayster. Not able to do anything there. Diamondcon, and he throws a nade at his own side. Eventually going to go down regardless. Asim gets another kill and they have control of the bomb site one more time, Mack now looking for this plant. Currently, 2 versus 3. Subliners have the advantage.
They're going to force this through as well. Towards back pillars. MajorManiak should be very dead and is. No accuracy in a really tough spot. The Subliners have not stopped since they left the kitchen on red. This has been absolutely ridiculous. 3-0. They're setting the pace and Røkkr cannot keep up. Clayster will find that one an accuracy to close it out with the best play, but my goodness me, Subliners are looking scary.
Well, we hyped it up a lot in the between the maps, and we said, you know, we are kind of waiting for Røkkr on the search and destroy. We are still waiting 3 rounds in. Let's see if they eventually come to life. Already, Asim is 5-1 in the search and destroy. After a ridiculous hardpoint as well. This man woke up and chose violence today.
A really good performance. I mean, look, he's just getting in their faces. He's causing so many problems for the Røkkr right now and just being aggressive at every single facet of his game. Mack will fall though, so it's momentarily now a 3 versus 4 for the Subliners. MajorManiak and Co trying to make this push on through. Attach put a lot of damage down, but not quite enough to find a kill, but still. Let's put a little bit of pressure over towards here. Røkkr can now make their way forward. This bomb will go down. 3v3. Diamondcon may be crucial here though. Wait for the push to come through. Turns around and gets attached. MajorManiak now in a rough little spot as well as Diamondcon pushes his way up. Subliners seemingly just taking it back with far too much ease. MajorManiak now in a 1 versus 2. Make that a 0 versus 2. Subliners do not stop. Phenomenal. From that side, 4-0 now.
This is starting to get a little bit out of control, and that may be an understatement, but 4-0, New York Subliners are on a roll today. And there aren't really many more ways you can say it, It's been a very one-sided game so far.
Yeah. I mean, even when Røkkr are doing the right things, they make the pick over towards that A side. They then put the damage down from attach. It gives them a scenario where they can push forward, get that bomb down. And they just fall apart. Subliners just seem so confident to challenge them every single time. Asim has not stopped. 6-1 for him. Another 3 streak. Utility will go out as it often so does over towards that A side, but Trophy's there to save the day for the Røkkr. They can lock this one in now in a good position to defend it, but look at this switch from Subliners.
I love this play as well. They've done massive A hits the last 2 attacks. Now switching up to B Street. Accuracy is going to get taken down by Mack, and that was a gunfight he needed to win. That would have slowed New York down. New York now have control of this side and bodies to spare. Mack's going to try and get this one down. There is a player very, very close. It's Attach. Can Attach make any sort of play coming through? He does manage to get Mack. And now this brings it back to a 3 versus 3. Priestahh already going to come around the back here. Should be able to catch Clayster unawares. Does as well, teaming up. But Asim gets the same kill. And Asim choosing it again to just dominate. He comes out and Diamondcon gets it. And New York win another round. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe that when we come to this part of the league, that New York Subliners are just running away from it. Minnesota Røkkr had a great chance there. Attached did the work. Got that first kill. Gave them the opportunity. They even got behind Clayster. But that's the last good thing that happened this round. Because for the rest of it, New York cut them apart.
You know, Bryce, when we were called up to the CDL and we sort of seen the games we were looking at, I was like, Røkkr, Subliners, my god, how close is this going to be? Oh well. Subliners look so good. That's the problem. Even when Clayster flanks around behind there, yes, okay, he doesn't find a great deal, but the distraction, the time he takes away, the attention he takes away from that B bomb site allows Subliners to just expand that little bit more in and around the site. It's just so hard to do anything. This has got 6-0 written all over it. Asim 9-1. Diamondcon's gonna find another MajorManiak. The last man alive for the Røkkr, the last round for the Røkkr that they will see on Moscow Search and Destroy today. This one is done. This one is dusted. The Subliners 2-0. What a start to the series from them. This has been flawless so far from the boys from New York.
Well, I don't think that are ever going to want us to cast one of their games again, Ton. Because this has been, I would say, out of the norm. It feels like everything we said between the games, before the game, we said, you know, Minnesota, the S&D, that's where they'll be top notch. After the hard point, we were like, it's okay, we're going to wait for the S&D, don't worry. And then the S&D has come and it is gone in the very quickest of fashion. And they don't even look phased. There's Asim again, obviously walking off this time around, but he is ridiculous. There is no other word for it. Like, how on earth do you describe this kind of performance? What was it, 22-5 in the hard point? And then he comes into the Search and Destroy, and that was at least 8-1 from the last time I saw it, but right, just get it right. You combine his KD together, it's a ridiculous score in any game mode, but he's just done the Search and the hard point and has barely even died more than 6 times.
My goodness. I mean, look, we seen Clayster wasn't too happy about the comms being picked up, but I don't think he'd be too bothered about any of the comms from this game. There is no bad feelings in that New York Subliners camp right now, and 9-1 from Asim in that game. The rest of the team obviously performing fantastically. Diamondcon with 8, but accuracy at 1 and 6. The ARs couldn't get going. The ARs really could not get going on the side of the Røkkr. They couldn't. And I think, you know, that comes down to how aggressive Subliners were playing at nearly every single moment. They were setting themselves up in aggressive positions, aggressive sight angles. They were pushing the tempo every single time. Røkkr want to set up. They want to make sure that on the defensive side of things, especially, they can get those ARs with them aimed down sight and finding the picks where they can. Subliners didn't allow them that chance. They just ran headfirst into the bomb site every single time. What a performance from the Subliners in map number 2.
It certainly was a performance. And speaking of performance, here is your US Army tactical play. Of course, it's Asim just doing ridiculous work over and over again, Ton.
I mean, it starts immediately, doesn't it? I think this is just it's a good barometer of how the rest of the map's going to go. After his performance in the hard point, he comes out swinging with a play like this to start the Search and Destroy. And it just set the tempo. Subliners were still feeling it from that hard point, and they say, you know what, let's just keep on rolling how we did. Search and Destroy or not, 4-0 or not. They came out the gates. Fantastic from the Subliners, really good performance from Asim, and there you go, that's the first S&D loss for the Røkkr. The problem is for them now, what do they have to fall back on? This is the thing, when you are so leaning on one of your game types to be your crutch win, what happens when you lose one? That's the problem. That is where the problem develops for the Røkkr. I mean, you've lost one now, you lost a hard point, you're in a really, really tough spot going into the control, but Bant's letting us know what we really know already. Is disgusting at this game. You should get him on the desk with this sort of analysis, my goodness.
Yeah, the Astro Social Soundboard, and of course, you know, Big Ben Bantz He is correct. Like, there is no other way to say that. Is 100% factual. Nothing but facts there from bands from Toronto Ultra. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what New York decided today. They just decided to just run away with it. The Røkkr are completely and totally reeling. I don't know how on earth they are going to get away with this one. But the game is not quite over yet. We are going to have one more map at least in control. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
The New York Subliners. This is basically a brand new roster for the Subliners. All things have changed, and here we go. Clay once again comes up clutch. He is the true veteran. Diamondcon, oh, keeping this run going.
Asim has really been having himself a hell of a series.
Mack popping up in the feed. Shout out to Mack, that was a killer two-piece. And a fantastic end to the round there for New York.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League.
I mean, basically, MajorManiak just has to hope that nobody comes behind him. He actually gets bad timing. Oh no! Advantage, forced it to be.
It's never over. It's never over.
He was worried with Priestahh going down that they were going to fly behind him. Huke, though, does get taken down by accuracy. Now a 1 versus 2 for Crim. The GOAT is going to get taken down. It's accuracy. It's the anchor. Minnesota Røkkr with a big upset over the Dallas Empire in a match that they needed.
Nice.
Let's
go, boys.
Let's go,
Come
boys.
on.
Just go.
You gotta win a damn respawn. Come on.
I didn't realize I got jumped out
out
from green right there.
All that I gave it up for a second. That's my bad.
You're
I like stop watching. Go, boys. That's
the
huge.
hard points. I got fried, bro.
Nah,
Good job.
good. 1-3-0, bro. My it wasn't working first game.
Just those hard points.
In the ice.
Yes, sir.
We there, baby.
Yo, you see what it looks like outside? Come on.
Come on, man. We're at the Minnesota to Texas, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. This is Super Week, and what a game do we have so far. You can see how it's going. New York Subliners blowing the Røkkr out of the water. That raid hardpoint, though, 250 to 82 on that scoreline. Maybe the biggest scoreline we need to take a look at is going to be Asim. That, by the way, if you are wondering, is the best KD ratio we have seen this season, and I don't know if it will actually ever be broken.
And that isn't it just, you know, this is against the Røkkr. I mean, look, it shows where he's done the business as well. 2 minutes and 10 seconds there or thereabouts in the hill as well. He's in there, he's picking up clutch kills, he's picking up important kills. These aren't just little flurries here and there, or little ones on the interchange. I mean, look, he's putting down big time in the hills, which tells you that he's picking up the important kills as well. I mean, what a performance that was on map number 1. The best KD we've seen so far on a map specifically from Asim. What a performance.
Yeah, what a performance. I am wondering whether or not he's going to do it map 3 as well. Control coming up. An opportunity for Minnesota to change their fortune. So far, they haven't really turned up in this game. And while that's not a nice thing to say, it unfortunately in this case is very, very true. New York are pretty much the team to keep an eye on here. Let's see when we come down to raid control whether or not they are going to continue this reign of terror. And I mean, there's only one player I've got to take a look at now, Ton. We've got to watch Asim.
I wonder.
There's no other reason. He is ridiculous.
He's been insane. Absolutely insane so far in this series. If he can keep it up, it's one to watch back, 100%. Let's see if they can continue their dominance here. The Subliners on to control. Of course, it will be an A hit for the first time. And it very is typically this way. We do see some B rushes every now and then, but Subliners want to start off nice and standard. Start off nice and quick. Asim will get gunned by Priestahh though. Good work by the Røkkr to lock down the Subliners. Haven't really been able to do a great deal, but we can see the push through kitchen is going to come through. B hit from the Subliners.
Clayster is ready and waiting. Keep an eye on him. He's going to try and deny jungle. Actually trying to go already over, but Clayster's there. Is he going to get the second one? No, gets out of dodge. Hick is coming in to be so far on control and attach. He's going to take down Mack. That's big, but Clayster gets back into the action and then gets another one. Already they've given it out. 1 tick is enough. They're now going to start looking for the kills. And that is going to be very, very important. You can see both teams still kind of taking their time to set this one back up. The New York Subliners have chosen B to begin with. They seem getting 2 in mid-map. And they are ready to try and take this very, very early on. Clayster at the back there is going to see accuracy. Is anybody in the position to help him? No, it's going to be a one-on-one gunfight, and it will be accuracy who comes away with it this time around. Asim going towards P5 is going to be shut down, and the Røkkr have rebuffed a lot of this pressure. Only one person left. It's going to be Mack. Tries to stay alive around basketball, but it is going to be shut down as we go for a reset, but big start by New York.
Yeah, really big start by New York, but the Røkkr managed to hold on. What I liked about that from the Subliners was how fluid it was. They always seemed to be flowing in different directions, filling spaces on the map where they knew the Røkkr weren't, or just cutting down those sight lines. Ultimately, though, it is the Røkkr who technically come out on top of that. Their lives remaining is in very much in their camp right now. Of course, now at the same time, though, B, 2 ticks over there means the Subliners are in a good spot to take that in a second, but they will have to make the move over towards A. Røkkr concentrating on defending B. They want to make sure they lock in this one. It's a little bit harder to attack, so putting all their eggs in the B basket, so to speak. New York will capture A. Røkkr will allow them to as well.
Yeah, it's a little bit dangerous there for New York. They could have gone badly wrong, but they fortunately managed to get the fast A capture. Sit on it, get the time, get the extension. You're already in a really good place. They are down 2 lives. But with that said, it's already gone away from them. Priestahh, though, going to be top bedroom. They're going to have to make for him. And Clayster decides to fly out. It will be Diamondcon who gets him in the end. New York have swiftly gone to the B point here. Could actually end up stacking this just to get it straight through, and they've already got it. New York Subliners, in a pretty quick time, have managed to go 1-0 up against Røkkr.
I mean, the damage was done initially, wasn't it? It's that big push over towards B to kick things off. And then automatically for the Røkkr, you kind of need to commit to something, either locking down B and making sure they don't get that final tick, or just fully defending A as best you can, but it's a lot harder to get a hold of that. As I said, for me, I think on the attacking side of things, when they did find those first 2 ticks over towards B, New York were just so fluid. Clayster pushing through the spawn, and then it was just players setting up control in kitchen. On the attacking side as well, they just wanted to be so far forward. We've seen them moving around in different positions in the map. I just really, really like the push. It just worked out so well. But now the turn of Røkkr to attack. Of course, we are going to see more than likely a hit. Subliners ready and waiting. Diamondcon! Oh, dearie me. That is accurate. And Mack will find 2 as well. It's the perfect start to the round for the Subliners. 4 of the Røkkr are dead, and they will push forward. A little bit of real estate here. They're going to be able to set up. This is a hard push for the Røkkr now.
It certainly is. New York ready and willing to try and end this game right here and right now. I think it's time we go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with the New York Subliners.
Me and Matt going down. I'm gonna come down header. I'm gonna come down header. We can heady. Play down header. I'm fighting on the I'm right, Matt. Okay, I'm pushing right. Go left. Last game major mid. He's gonna be actually.
Pillars, really weak, guys. Pillars, really weak. Nice, boys. Good job. Watch 4. Set up a break again.
Bedroom.
They're coming A again.
Okay. We're getting to the time where you could use the streak if it gets lower.
Alright. I got one in hurt. I'm not shaking. One more hurt. Press.
One shot on A.
They're gonna cap.
Art, one shot. There's 2 on A.
Going back to bed.
Watch
Nice, one on A.
I'm backing up.
Looking for Major. We're missing Major in attack.
He's front kitchen.
I'm here, Mack. Nice, Mack.
Yo, pillars.
Flashing me in the
I'm
back.
I can pinch up.
There's 2 on me.
I'm gonna come out.
They found me, dude. They found me.
Got one on left.
Bedroom. 2 bedroom already, guys. Pushing out ring. Watch the bed push. There's 2 bedroom already. One on me ring. Weak. Dead.
I'm gonna pinch up. Nice.
We're good. They're gonna be bed.
Top bed, one shot. Major.
Opens up something as well.
One shot top bed. Let's close open.
You gotta help.
Open. I can shriek.
Yeah, shriek this.
Alright, stay up.
Nice, Mack. Good job.
There's only one on our side.
Shriek, bro.
Top bed.
Well, there you go, the New York Subliners. That's your Astro Gaming listening, and they sounded a bit fast and frantic, but also calm at the same time. They know they are right at this moment in control of this game, no pun intended, Ton.
Very much so. But at this moment in time, the Røkkr not necessarily in too bad of a spot here. There's still very much potential to get something done at B. The streak's going to come in, though. It doesn't really find anybody from Diamondcon, but nonetheless, the Røkkr are forced into positions they don't want to be in. Subliners set up, know exactly what's coming. That's going to make the push around. Diamondcon very aware of what's going on, but it's the bait. If anything, it's Priestahh now pushes through. And Kitchen is where they may formulate this final attack. Mack is going to go down now. And it keeps coming here for the Røkkr. 11 lives remaining on their side of things. 16 on the side of Subliners, though. Subliners can just try and pick them apart if they can.
They're trying to make a move out here, but they just don't have the map control. Eventually, will manage to take down Clayster, and you can see one more time, Røkkr are trying to get in a good position, and it's not going as well for them as they would like. Now, with only 5 lives remaining, New York are in full control. Accuracy trying to get forward. Mack is going to take him down. Cash also going to fall here. Only 3 lives remaining against 13. And New York aren't budging an inch in this game, and they haven't from the very beginning. This could be one of the quickest 3-0s we've ever seen, touch wood.
I mean, Subliners are making a bit of a habit of this, to be fair, aren't they? It has been quite convincing from them this week, and they just seem to get better and better as every series goes on. And this was just a case of the Røkkr. Yes, okay, they got a hold of A, but the damage was done initially. Those lives get ticking down, and it's one of those things, if you're on the attack, it cannot be as consequential for being down lives. You get one good break, you can really whack up that time on one of the control points so quickly, but they just couldn't get everybody from the Subliners out of their spawn. They were consistently finding themselves in those positions. When they went, the Subliners were setting up with their ARs. Diamondcon, Clayster, phenomenal from then. Diamondcon, of course, dropping the streaks in. Subliners now 2-0, 14-9 out of Diamondcon. Max 15-7 as well. It's a great performance so far by the Subliners, flawless throughout the whole series. Now their turn to attack, of course, as the push starts to come through. Accuracy and Laundry. Diamondcon, once again, though, will get the better of him. It's been a good performance by the youngsters so far. Subliners, though, looking to get a hold of A. They should get a hold of A.
Certainly shouldn't. You can see, though, the Røkkr are looking maybe to kind of deflect this one to begin with. Big stack coming in. 3 members of New York already on the point. They've managed to get rid of the player watching the flank, and now they're going to try and close in. MajorManiak coming through. Diamondcon equal to it. And Mack is going down as well. Priestahh trying to find Diamondcon. Eventually will be picked up by his teammate Accuracy. But when you kill all the players at ring, they do end up spawning short pull to get to B. And that's exactly what the New York Subliners are now going for. MajorManiak ready to rebuff them. Already finds Mack. Tries to get on to Asim, but great trades coming in. Attach going to Tiki. Going to see Clayster right at the back. And this is a much better showing already from them. They have done the business to get B clear, but lost A. Not the biggest of problems. Right now, Minnesota are in control with 25 lives remaining. Oh, MajorManiak is Sin 1. Sin 2 isn't going to get the third. Clayster decides not to take that gunfight. And this is much better. Right now, they are in control of this game. Let's see whether or not they can hold on.
As I was saying, though, those lives don't necessarily matter as much on the attacking side. You need one good break, and that can be the difference. Clayster now, if you can find MajorManiak, that would be massive. Wasn't expecting him, and that's 3 very quick kills for the Røkkr. Can they find a 4th as well? Not quite. Diamondcon still going to just niggle away towards the back. Taking his time, staying alive. They need to try and get rid of him, which may just free up some time for the Subliners. Not going to happen. This is the best we've seen from the Røkkr so far. Good shots from accuracy. This should be around for the Røkkr. Those lives remaining are just far too gone for the Subliners. Røkkr have the time to just pick them apart.
Certainly do, and it's going to be a big slowdown now as New York don't have the lives to throw away. They're going to try and get one. I see him already going through, but he's going to find a player on his back, and down he goes. There is also a flank coming in. Keep an eye on accuracy on your mini-map. He's going to try and get this player top bedroom as well. Clayster's going to go down, and you are right, Ton. This is the best we've seen Røkkr so far. They are playing this textbook. They are making sure New York do not have an easy route to B. They are spreading out across the map and getting trades in their favour. However, New York just took control of Kitchen. I don't know if it's enough. They have to get past accuracy first.
Accuracy, that's a big gunfight win. He will go down. Oh, these kills that are important though for the Subliners. Yes, okay, the lives are now at 4. They cannot afford to die, but if they can clear them out, maybe something can get going. Unfortunately for them, Røkkr spawning close towards basketball side. That will surely be now a round for the Røkkr. They get on the board for, well, pretty much the first time in this series. 1 life remaining, that's going to be Mack. Towards Kitchen, he will choose to go down. The Røkkr will find themselves around their defensive side, albeit they'll be more than happy to eventually get some sort of tick on the board.
Well, that means we have a game on our hands. Soda not going to sleep very, very easily. The New York Subliners, though, still going to be on map and series point if they can get this next one. It is good to see, finally, slowing down that slaying out of New York so far, and I am curious to see whether or not they go maybe for something a little bit outrageous, like a heavy B push to start, or just go for the A, try to capture it, and then work on B for the rest of the game. Looks like a pretty standard run. Going to A, you're going to see MajorManiak probably try and make sure their pillars are secure. A little bit of a slow push, actually, just wading into Art. It does seem going to make sure they can get these trades effectively. Already accuracy trying to move up here. They seem keeping an eye over. Nobody comes through, but that nade goes straight onto him, and accuracy says thank you very much as he pops out. Diamondcon, though, more than equal to getting the trade for his teammate, but Røkkr are going to get the better of this one. Diamondcon trying to play his life. Has done very, very well to pick these players off. You can see reinforcements coming in from the purple. MajorManiak going to now win that fight top laundry ton.
Yep. They win the fight. They can now push through. Mack is there to do something for the Subliners, but they're presuming that A is well and truly lost. It looks that way. Look at the control that Røkkr have set up in and around. Subliners now will set up towards Laundry, and I think that's more so just to stop the flank coming on through. A, of course, going to go over towards the Røkkr now. Priestahh will find a kill on the outset, and Mack will go down, but Clayster setting himself up well. And I think, you know, for the Subliners in this scenario, you've got 2 minutes to defend over towards B. Live's not in your favour. You need to maybe push up, maybe play a little bit awkward for the Røkkr to try and make these pushes as hard as possible. Haven't been able to gain any sort of map control, though, and that's brilliant play by Priestahh. Clayster going to go down, and now Minnesota Røkkr feels like they're building back into this game, Bryce.
Yeah, maybe a slow start, but it's not about how you start, it is about how you finish. Already accuracy just gunning there as well. Røkkr have the numbers now on the map to get this one done. Already getting a stack in. That first pick is done. That second one is rocketing up. Diamondcon sitting back basketball. Are they ready for this push? They're going to have to hit it eventually. That is 2 ticks now on the B. Clayster and Mack getting it, though. They open up. Clayster gets a second one as well. And Clayster gets everything they need to with Asim and Mack backing him up, because they are now pushing them all the way back to spawn one more time. 2 lives in favour of Røkkr. Will they be able to lock this down for the remaining 122?
It's that second wave of kills they just found there as well, Bryce. That's what puts Røkkr in a really difficult spot. If you're New York, you find those kills, you push up. You find a little bit more control of the map, but they can't find the gunfights there. MajorManiak now going to break on through. Asim is able to enter back, as is Clayster. But MajorManiak, the only one left here. Clayster causing havoc in the spawn of the Røkkr. MajorManiak will find the kill, though. Diamondcon blocking this one in if he can. Subliners, you know, I mean, they were down in this one. It really seemed as if it was going over towards the Røkkr side, but a couple of kills is what makes the difference on control. It can swing so quickly. But keep an eye on number 2. Keep an eye on Attach to potentially do something here, as the artillery is now going to be called in by accuracy. Which way is this one going to fall? It was over towards Tiki, will not find anything. Attach round the back, though, is somebody who has found something. And that's a route round behind. The rest of the team should now break on through with him, but they've actually lost the gunfights. Now, he does actually have accuracy photo with him. Mack going to go down. Asim went for a swim, but He ain't quick enough, needs to work on that breaststroke. Røkkr now 2-2. Subliners, it's not necessarily slipping away through their fingers here, but the Røkkr very much back into it.
Yeah, 100%. That was much better executed, and it can always be a nightmare to try and get B, but they did such great work to eventually squeeze New York out of it, and just got enough bodies on it. I always say, the best thing about it is if you can get 2 ticks onto B on this map, then a quick stack by even 2 players can ruin the defender's days. But now we jump on board with Minnesota on the defense. And let's see if they can get 3 rounds in a row and bring this back to 2-1. Redemption is very much on the cards, but Clayster opens it up with a great kill against Priestahh. They've already taken full mid-map control. New York Subliners now pretty much have their pick of where they want to go, and with 2 players paying money, it does seem they've chosen B to break off.
Sometimes something that teams do on Red, it's the fast B push. We know how quick that these points can be allocated with a big stack. Subliners not necessarily choosing to throw bodies inside the hill, as, well, they've lost a couple of them. To be fair, Priestahh will find those shots eventually onto Clayster, and this B push has been somewhat positive for the Subliners. They will find 1 tick over the woods, and Mack staying alive there is just such a big point for them. He's now in a position where Røkkr have to clear him out. Has he pushed into our spawn though? Has he dropped back onto the point? They haven't got a clue where he is right now. They've got a good idea, but it's one of those scenarios. It's like, what do you do with Mack now when you've got the rest of Subliners pushing through the middle of the map? Subliners have transferred their efforts over towards A, with Mack still just being a nuisance over towards basketball court. They still have to put that pressure in. They don't have to send those 2 players over there if they don't know that Mack is still alive in that point, which allows Subliners a route through A and out. Not in complete control, but they're in a good spot to grab a hold of it.
Certainly are, and I think this is the point when Minnesota give it up. You can already see, keep an eye on that mini-map ton, that they have spread very, very far out. You're going to see accuracy already, might even go top Art here and see if he can pick off a player or 2. Right now he's going to go straight out of Art door. Let's go through line, and he's going to see Diamondcon. He's going to be calling it out to attach as well, who's there to try and get the pinch, but Mack is more than equal to it. And now, all on New York to try and figure out a way to break this purple wall. Now throwing it up already, a big spawn on the side of New York is going to be Priestahh sitting top bedroom. Actually just flying about. Actually ends up getting the 3-piece with an assist from his trophy.
Asim will find the kill though on the outside, and if you're Subliners here, you do have the time to just pick them apart from the back. Minute and 10 remaining, Asim now inside the point. They've got rid of the issue of accuracy in bedroom, and now they can make this push through. Asim trying his best to stay alive. Needs a little bit of support here though, as Mack and Co now in the sight. The push needs to come from Røkkr any second now. Attach will go down. MajorManiak momentarily all alone, but from the jump up is accuracy. Røkkr need to be solid here because Subliners are just ticking up that time very, very slowly. It's Priestahh from behind that should break it, but Diamondcon staying alive, and Tiki still 54 seconds to go.
Oh, that's a big kill from Attach. That stops New York being as aggressive as they would like to. Attach now going to fly out here at some point and try to figure it out. MajorManiak backing him up. Clayster already picked off 1. Diamondcon gets another. MajorManiak's got to stay alive, but Clayster with a laser just shutting them down, and now they're getting onto B. Diamondcon stacking it with them as well. Attach on a peak, trying to do something, and the New York Subliners, for the second time this season, have just 3-0'd another team in the Call of Duty League. And the Røkkr looked like they were coming back. They looked like a team we were expecting. New York has been a cut above. They call this Call of Duty Super Week, but it's the Super Subliners we are now talking about.
What a performance in maps number 1 and number 2, and the composure to hold on to that 5th round after being 2-0 up. The Subliners have everything in their locker to make a charge this season, and we are seeing it here right now. What a performance that was out of the New York Subliners, and a lot of people are going to look at Asim on those first 2 maps, absolutely, but you have to look at the whole team as a cohesive unit. I mean, they played that control so well. Yes, okay, a couple of rounds letting it slip here and there. You've got to give your appreciation to the Røkkr for a really good comeback, but the Subliners as a team looking hella scary here in Super Week.
They are looking crazy strong. I'm sure anybody else who's got them on the schedule is now looking at that game in a very, very different way. How could you not? How could you not sit there and go, wow, that is terrifying to come up against. New York Subliners, back-to-back 3-0s. Somebody put the Clayster picture on the timeline.
I see the tweet during the game actually from Madcat. That did make me laugh. Asim noticed that apparently Hydra's visa's gone through, and he's like, nah. That ain't happening. What a performance from that young man. 3-0 for the Subliners. Asim was a big reason as to why that happened. But let's have a look at how control broke down for the New York Subliners. A 3-2 win here. Diamondcon really has to be the guy you're looking at here. 30-24. It's a phenomenal AR performance from him.
Yeah, I would say definitely huge plays there, but also Clayster, you know, there were both of them made some very important kills that probably the stat lines don't tell you. And there's things like that B when we went to the last bit there. Clayster managing to pick up the trades and cutting down the Røkkr just meant they weren't able to defend. And like I said before, right, you get 2 ticks on the B onto that one, you have to play a flawless defense. Just 1 or 2 players and it makes a terrifying prospect because you have to peek through money or peek through basketball or hopefully have someone bedroom or down pool stairs. And if you don't win those trades, the game is over before you have a second chance. It is very much, that's how it works on Raid, and you have to play it very tight. But unfortunately, New York were the team who were able to get away with it, and they come away not only a 3-0 but a 3-2 in the control.
Yeah, just a really good performance, an all-round performance, and for the Røkkr, it's back to the drawing board. It has to be said. You know, we talked about those S&Ds being so influential. They got 6-0 to Moscow. So you look at that one and you sort of say, right, okay, well maybe they weren't at the races, but the hard point was convincing. They nearly lost the control very quickly as well. Of course, as I said, the S&D 6-0, and that's the problem when you're kind of not performing in the respawns. And yeah, okay, S&D is great. Well, if you lose an S&D, I said, what's the plan next? And there wasn't one. There really wasn't one there for the Røkkr Subliners. Far too good today.
Well, speaking of far too good, let's take a little look at our Scuff play of the game. And I believe it's going to be the end of that control, where finally New York break Røkkr, and they managed to get into this B point at the last second. There's Diamondcon doing work in Tiki, and you're going to see all the trades end up coming through, and it's just enough for New York to get those picks.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, what I liked from the Subliners throughout this, specifically on their attacks, they played their lives so well. I mean, how long did we see Mack survive in the basketball court? How long was Diamondcon sitting at Tiki? It's just so hard to deal with when you know they're there and you have to concentrate on getting rid of them. But then you need to think where the other 3 members of Subliners are as well. Diamondcon positioned himself fantastically in Tiki, and then Clayster and Co were there to help support very quickly. So, every single part of their control game wasn't perfect necessarily, but playing your life in control, playing your life in any mode specifically, if you're in and around behind, if you're in an awkward position, is just such a good facet to have on your team. And there you go. Subliners Stage 1 has been fantastic for them so far.
It certainly has. As you can see, they don't like splitting any single series. The big loss first to the Thieves, then a back-to-back 3-0. The Ravens and the Røkkr both fall to New York. Up next, Dallas, who are probably a little bit worried now, or at least a little bit more worried than they would have been about this game just a few weeks ago. And of course, on the other side of that, Minnesota. So far, of course, they lost to the Thieves as well, seems to be a running theme. Then they managed to take that upset against Dallas. Good old times back then. Played Surge just yesterday. And of course, that loss from the New York Subliners just now. Coming up next for them, though, will be the London Royal Ravens. We'll see how they stack up, because New York took them down 3-0 as well.
Yeah, it's one of those that Røkkr now has to go in. They have to win that one after that poor performance. You know, maps starting to come into it, that sort of thing. It's not necessarily ideal for the Røkkr, but they'll be going in that game against London, who have been kind of up and down themselves, and sort of saying, right, okay, well, what version of ourselves are we going to see, and what version of London are we going to see? Because that's what it's coming down to, is who's turning up on the day. Today, it wasn't Røkkr's day at all, really, was it? I mean, look, what a performance from the Subliners. Fantastic from them, but Røkkr will live to fight another day.
Yeah, 100%. And here, of course, is something you may not have seen, or if you have been a big fan. This is the Challenge Elite, and we are on board with Venom doing serious work done.
Yeah, this was last night. Of course, we covered the European side of things on youtube.com/Challengers. Make sure you do check that out. The Elite Challengers series has been phenomenal. But in Europe, of course, we got to see that grand final, but we've seen Venom there tearing up on the American side of things. excuse me, and just a really, really big win for the New York Subliners Academy there. But of course, in Europe, as mentioned, Rams taking that one away in a map 5 round 11 last night against Gunless. It went all the way down to the wire. But of course, as I've mentioned, North America was the Subliners Academy to take it away. And you know, it kind of felt like, and if any of you guys haven't been following the Challenger side of things, that Wester were kind of above and beyond everybody else on the Challenger side of things in North America. But Subliners Academy get it done when it has $20,000 to their name. Get signed up. There's money on the line, Challengers. I tell you that. There's a lot of it.
There certainly is, but that has been a wonderful start for me and Tun. It's been pretty good, but we will be back tomorrow. Coming up right after this break, we will have Lando with Asim. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scump, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance, auto, renters, and home insurance that's made to help the military community protect what they've worked hard for.
This is your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. I'm Lando, joined alongside by Asim. Buddy, talk to me, right? This series was interesting, to put it lightly. Let's start with New York's performance up to this point. 0-6 in maps to start the season, including kickoff. Now, since then, you guys are 6-0 in your past 2 series. Clayster told me he blew up against the team the other day. Share with us, what's changed? You guys look like you're on a mission right now.
Yeah, Lando. New York as a whole has gone through a lot this season. Starting off the year, me and Diamondcon weren't even in the picture. They were supposed to be playing with Hydra and Zuma, and then with Hydra taking so long with his visa and Zuma drastically getting injured, they've been going through a lot. I feel really bad for Clay and Mack. You know, they had an image coming into the season what they wanted, and honestly, a lot of things shifted. I'm glad they did. I think it just, like, the past 2 matches, we're trying to show the world that, you know, me and Diamondcon, we're here to stay. We're trying to prove our role on this team, and it's been a lot for me. I've been trying to. This year's honestly basically like my revenge tour.
I like that. I like that a lot, man. That's great to hear. Obviously, we have a few tweets on the screen, obviously referencing your performance really throughout the series, obviously specifically in those first 2 maps. 22-5 in the hardpoint, 9-1 in the S&D. You literally had 6 deaths after the first 2 maps, as Jacob had made it known. Talk to me a minute. How are you feeling after that? I know you said this is kind of your revenge tour right now, but what does it feel to put up those numbers?
It honestly feels great. I feel like the last 3 weeks of COD, I'm playing like perfect COD. I don't know. I just feel like everything is working out with me. Even with that loss against 100D, like, I just think leading up to the season, I've really prepared myself. I'm trying to establish myself as a professional. I feel like last year I did it, but I mean, I don't know. People keep sleeping on me, so I'm gonna keep doing my work. I'm gonna keep staying at it and trying to get a chip on the board, especially with Clay as our leader.
I gotta ask one last thing real quick. Did it feel good to do it against the Røkkr?
Yeah, Lando, it honestly did. I think I was just trying to prove. I was trying to prove a point, man. Dude, I do a lot for the team, statistics or whatever, dude. I bring a lot to the team, and I'm trying to prove it. And I'm glad it's showing. I'm glad everyone is, they're seeing my work. And it honestly is a big tribute to Clayster and Zuma especially. I think even me being an amateur 3 years ago, Zuma was the first person to pick me up, and he was the first person to pick me up on this New York team. I wasn't even supposed to be a starter, and he brought me onto this team. He showed everyone that I'm here to stay, and it's honestly I give all credit to Zuma.
Here to stay indeed, my man. Well, that was our Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Asim, thanks so much for joining me, and congrats to you and the team on the victory.
Appreciate it, Lando. Absolutely.
Well, all right, folks. One game down and still 2 great ones left to go. When we come back, it is OpTic taking on the Guerrillas. Stay with us as CDL Super Week day number 4 continues right after this. Hi everybody, welcome back to Super Week. It is day number 4, Guerrillas v OpTic. Before we get into things, I got something special for you all, right? In this particular matchup, this is going to be this week's T-Mobile 5G Weekly Drop. 5G Weekly Drop is your weekly shot at epic CDL prizes, all thanks to T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. And what's bigger and faster than some instant prizing? During this match, text TMO Restock to 313131 to win. Prizes this year will include CDL merch, opportunities to drop in with your favorite pros, exclusive access during T-Mobile All-Star Weekend, and champs, as well as so much more. Make sure to tune in each week to find out what's in play. Sonny, here we go, my man. Starting off, or I wouldn't say starting off, but I feel like with how fast that match was, we're kind of kicking things off quickly here when it comes down to this next one. OpTic v Guerrillas. It is set to be a fantastic match, and I'm excited to get into this one. In fact, let's go ahead and meet our first team, the Los Angeles Guerrillas.
The Guerrillas getting it done. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of the LAG. Silly finds the first. Lovely teamwork. my God.
Dealt with the pressure inside the hill and the double nade from aBeZy.
Salt lines him up, finds himself too.
Vivid just has the one to win against Octane.
And Vivid has got his number. Beautiful round. Fantastic execution from the LA Guerrillas.
Oh, yeah.
That is your Los Angeles Guerrillas study. Talk to me about this team. We've had a few chances to talk over this team previously. What do you make of these four?
Whenever I think about this roster, I just feel like this roster has yet to find their identity yet. When it comes to those certain game modes, you see them in Search and Destroy. They rely a lot on Vivid being that island player. And in the respawns, they rely on aBeZy. And unfortunately, they're all not clicking. They just lost to Florida. Hopefully in this match, they're able to bring it back.
Yeah, right. It's going to be kind of a similar comeback with what Asim talked about previously. You know, LAG looking to try and do a similar thing. It's not going to be easy considering the opponents that they have on the other side. And speak of the devil, let's go ahead and meet the Chicago OpTic.
Almighty keeps it going.
Formal, looking fantastic.
Envoy slaying his way through. Scump from up high, the king.
I'm out here doing what they thinking is irrational.
Really starting to run that score up.
I'm gonna make it back. I'm gonna make it back. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, OpTic Gaming are back. Chicago are a force to be reckoned with.
And that's OpTic Chicago. I mean, what, Study? It's no surprise, right? These guys, these four on paper are absolutely dominant. When we talk about the respawn performance, these guys have been on another level. Of course, they bring in Dashy during the offseason, and he has been having, an unbelievable season, at least to start in their first few series. But Dashy alongside the other three, these guys are always, very difficult to prepare for and even more difficult to face off against.
Oh, yeah, definitely. From top to bottom, this team is stacked. You got Formal and Scump, T2P, and you add Dashy. Envoy is an unbelievable sub player, can do it all. Watching these guys yesterday versus the Ultra, even though they lost that Search and Destroy, especially on that map number 1 on Checkmate, they completely dominated. And if you're going to be the LA Guerrillas in this series, you're going to have to match the slaying power, especially with Formo and Dashy. So I'm looking at Assault, I'm looking at Silly to really step up in this series, at least to try to fight through this, because if not, OpTic Chicago, the way that they were looking yesterday, this is going to be a really quick series.
That's a great call, man. I think it's important to kind of lay out what the blueprint needs to be for LAG here. Like as you mentioned, right? The checkmate hardpoint yesterday. I mean, I think at a certain point, Joe and Clint were like, okay, are we actually seeing the Ultra play? Like a 222-7 start is nothing to scoff at by any means. So yeah, I feel like when we talk about this Guerrillas team, I mean, a lot of strength here for the most part, but just based off the hardpoint performance, really to start this year, the respawn performance for OpTic, it is going to be a tall task for LAG. I mean, what are you looking at the hardpoint, maybe the control? What respawn outside of the S&Ds kind of needs to be the factor here for Guerrillas?
I think it's going to be this map number 1. Currently, they're 0-2 on this map, and this is not one of their best hardpoints, but I'm looking directly at aBeZy. aBeZy was known as the OpTic killer for years and years, and versus this series that he had versus Florida, he had a 0.7. So right off the rip, aBeZy is going to need to set the tone with his submachine gun.
That's a great call, man. 0.73 in the hardpoint in regards to last series for aBeZy. Desperately needed to try and turn a few things around. A good start for Silly. That's going to be 3-0 as the rest of his teammates are happy to go and hop inside the point. Currently, OpTic with that spawn advantage. But not if Vivid has anything to say about it. That's going to be a nice beginning for him as well. Again, the fight only continues for that top green control. Silly streak finally ends at 4.
And so far, this is great plays out of the Guerrillas. Basically 30 seconds on this P1 hardpoint. You're trying to flip the spawns as well, focusing towards that P2. You have a player in Vivid who's going to be sitting top green. He's going to have a couple gunfights. He's going to have to try to win, able to take down one, but eventually gets traded. But so far, the Guerrillas are playing this well. 30 seconds on that P1 hardpoint is not an easy task to do. All they have to do is just try to break this hill with a good amount of time and eventually try to force Chicago to just continue to spawning back towards P2 so they can focus on P3 as well.
Yeah, and it can't be understated, right? This P2 hill, despite LAG's great performance off of that first set of rotations, you have to be prepared for radar, for green, and it looks as if, based off the kill feed, Chicago wiping them away. The next 30 seconds is looking pretty well
be in their hands. Scump able to drop Silly. That was really one of the farthest pushed up players. Scump continuing through mid-map, eventually falls. But again, like we said, P2, that's the hill you have to focus on. There actually is going to be a crucial 1v1. Formal's able to win it versus Silly. So that lead for Chicago is only going to extend, what, about maybe 64 points to 33 as we head in for our next rotation. LAG, though, based off of that mini-map, they've got pretty much everything clear, and aBeZy's hoping to hold off the fray instead of green for as long as possible.
Yeah, aBeZy pushed up middle map. You saw what the Guerrillas were doing off that rotation. Just making sure that they stack that middle, not letting the players from Chicago try to come in and break their setup and force their players to spawn out. Now they're only going to be down about 15 points. aBeZy's going to be the first line of defense, able to take down one. He's going to get traded, though, but here comes the rest of the players from his roster. 4 are going to drop for Chicago. And so far, LAG are having a great hold.
All right, it's kind of been, what, you know, strictly back and forth. Right, LAG, they grabbed the first point. OpTic are able to kind of grab every single second over at P2. LAG looking to do the same thing. 25 seconds left over here at Gens. And really, this is going to be OpTic trying to reestablish that mid control. That's really the key to victory, no pun intended. I know we talk about it often, but for Garrison is to try to get those SMGs and good playmaking opportunities through mid. And one positive for Chicago, well, let's say one of the many positives, is they've got one of the most difficult players to kill on the entire map, Envoy. And it can't be understated, Study. The amount of, the level of performance that Envoy has been able to produce for this team, not just this year, but also last season when he gets the call, it's been stellar. And again, one of the many things that LAG, I'm sure, have had to prepare for coming into today.
Oh, man, just talking about Envoy. Ever since he made his return back on that midnight roster, he's just been a terror ever since, man. And then OpTic give him the opportunity. He plays with some of the best of all time. And he's just ready for the moment. He's been showing it ever since. The only thing is, Guerrilla are having a great hold on towards this P4. aBeZy with a huge 2-piece. The entire time that this was going down, at the end of that P3, they forced OpTic Chicago to spawn back at old. And then they were able to flip them and eventually grow this lead to where it is now. aBeZy's really stepping up. They're about to find themselves up at least 60 points going into this P5.
They really want to try to keep them in this back position in regards to the way that the spawns are going to work out. OpTic, however, look to regain middle control. We've been talking a lot about the in-game atmosphere when we talk about OpTic Chicago. Let's actually go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with them ahead of P5.
We're square, yeah, square. I'm going square.
You're green out, green hill.
Nailed it. And no shots. One guy's P2 silly. Right on top green. Go square. I'm blind. I don't see enough time. Square. Lights in the back. I'm one shot. Last guy. I have your square. You watch light shots. I have green. Square, guys. Square. I have green, guys. I have it's only green. I'm holding lights. I have your square. Two lights. Another one light street. I have your back. One shot.
Square. Absolutely vivid. One bullet.
Someone back.
I don't see cat.
I don't see cat. Green. And back on the left. Yo, one out.
Absolute green.
Two. Whole flat side. I don't see green. Green dead. Nice. I just want